In today's episode, we're taking on NOTINUs, and I will say this was quite the showdown here. And you can see that I've actually finally got access to a spawner, so big shout out to Delante, or Delante. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that, but I really appreciate it because, now we can work with some new Pokemon, and I've really wanted to use Mega Glalie for like a long time because I actually like it as a Mega. I've used it a couple times before in Pokemon Showdown, and it is quite the weapon. And this set specifically, it's like kind of like a setup set. Really, the point is to get spikes up and then explode on the opponent. But that wasn't exactly quite how I played it today in this battle. You also got to consider I am new to using these Pokemon, so excuse me if I'm not as great with them. But anyways, he leads with Genesect, which is an uber tier Pokemon because it's just crazy good, and he actually gets a special attack buff, which really sucks because now he's going to be hitting like a truck, and I don't know what kind of moveset this guy is running. Now, Flamethrower is pretty predictable, which is why I went to Toxapex, but I really was lucky that he didn't have T-Bolt, because that is something that Genesect can run as well. Like, he can run a lot of different types of coverage, so I was lucky that wasn't the case. And I was thinking about Florges. Florges is my main special tank here, and I was just hoping he didn't have flash cannons. That would hit me like a truck. And really, the point of Florges on this team is to use Wish so that all my offensive Pokemon can get healed every time I need them to, and that, I'll tell you, came in handy quite a lot in this battle. So anyways, he goes into Lugia, and this has potential to also be scary because, once again, it is an uber tier Pokemon for a reason because it has high base stats. Now, normally Lugia is a defensive Pokemon, but this guy seems to be having like some sort of sweeping set. And one thing I remember when I used to use like Lugia back far in the day, when I was like when I really just started Pokemon Big Bronze competitive, like back when the game was actually around, I used to use Lugia, and I remember the biggest problem was just not having enough move slots available for what it could do, because it could really do anything you wanted to do. That's what I like about Lugia. So he goes into Genesect again. I'm into Toxapex, and I could survive a lot of Giga Drains, and if I really wanted to and I got low, I could always just switch out because Toxapex has Regenerator, literally my favorite ability right now in the game, because it just makes Toxapex such a good Pokemon to use. It's just a reliable Pokemon that you could switch into a lot of Pokemon. Now, ground types are like the exception. You gotta be careful about that, and some electric types. But overall, it's quite reliable. And even against ground types and electric types, they can normally take in a hit before going down. So he has Draco Wish too, which luckily he's not running the uber tier set, because that would just be straight up unfair. So he already has a ton of really good Pokemon, but on this specific Draco Wish, he's running Water Absorb. Now, if it was like Strong Jaw, it still wouldn't be the biggest issue actually, because then I could have actually burned him with my Scald and kind of nullified him. But I'm happy he's got Water Absorb in that instead of Strong Jaw, because Strong Jaw is crazy good. So I try to go into Heliolisk. I really wanted to use this too, and he goes into Dugtrio, and I was thinking, wait a second, this might be Arena Trap. I was like, I hope it isn't, because that will piss me off, and it is Arena Trap. You gotta consider that ability is actually banned in competitive, and I forgot that on Heliolisk specifically, I was running Choice Specs, so I was screwed no matter what at this point. And this is exactly why I hate playing people who use like ban listed Pokemon, because there's nothing I can do. This is just uncompetitive. You know what I'm saying? Like, switching is an essential part of PvP, and if you're going to disable that, it's not fair. There's a reason it's a banned ability. Like, even like against Ubers, like I could still switch out and work around it, but I couldn't do anything against that trio except just sacrifice my Heliolisk. But it's alright, it's not the biggest problem. So I go into Sizer, and he actually stays in, and that's great because I'm able to basically take him to one-shot range. And what I was thinking of doing, as you can see I showed right here, was I could go into Glalie. All I need to do is get spikes up, and I'll be perfectly in shape. And one thing I might consider later down the line is a moveset change for Glalie. Like, normally you're actually supposed to run double edge rather than body slam. I was running body slam, so I couldn't get access to double edge. Not right now, at least, until the move command is fixed. But really, body slam actually did turn out to be quite a good alternative for standard battling, because the additional side effect of being able to get paralysis actually comes in handy quite a lot, and it still does a good amount of damage to where it's not like something you want to switch into too easily. So he goes into Genesect multiple times. Now, one thing I didn't realize was that he actually got paralyzed by the body slam. I didn't notice, it didn't show me the ability, but I'll see it later in the battle because he switches into it, and I can see that I actually got paralysis. My Toxapex got burned too from the flamethrower, but it's not really a big problem. Like, burn is really the best thing you can get on Toxapex. Even though it kind of nullifies your leftovers, it's better than getting paralysis by miles. So I decided to go for Toxic. He's starting to get a bit predictable here, so I'm able to kind of just like nullify the Draco Wish now. And now I have to figure out who I want to switch into. But one thing that I can actually do comfortably is just go really into anything I want to, because with Florges I can just wish and get a lot of HP back, and that's actually something I really liked about Florges. It was actually quite a useful Pokemon in this battle. So I go into X-Plot, which completely tanks the Ancient Power, and I wanted to slam him with a Boom Burst. I was really excited. He went into Lugia, and this Lugia doesn't even have multi-scale, so I was expecting huge damage. But unfortunately, that was really just weak and just sad. Like I really expected better from X-Plot, but you know, it is what it is. But I'll have to keep that in mind, because I might have to switch him out for something else later. But you know, I'll give it some more chances. But like, I was expecting it to be a complete wall breaker. So anyways, I go back into Glalie on Lugia, and he goes into Draco Wish, which is actually fine. So I'm going to take the risk and see if I can outspeed him, and I'm able to do that successfully and take care of the Draco Wish because it wasn't using Choice Scar. So next up, he goes into Grimmsnarl, and I know I used Grimmsnarl in my playthrough with Sword and Shield, and I know that you can actually get like Drain Punch in it, so I decided to switch out just in case he was going to use that. But I don't think this guy had it. He had the setup set, so I remember seeing a lot in Bronze Reforged, and it's actually quite a good set because a lot of people don't realize it, but Grimmsnarl is actually really good Pokemon for PvP. It has a great typing, it has great utility, it hits like a truck almost. I mean, I guess to offensive Pokemon really, but you know, that is something you gotta stay clear of if you can. So anyways, I take this opportunity to set up spikes because I thought that this is gonna be a fully utility spec Grimmsnarl, a bit like not much attack and more so just like defenses. So that's why I was thinking, well, if I get spikes up, that will completely shut down his Dugtrio, because with spikes, you know, he's at 1 HP, so when he switches in, he dies, and that would be perfect. So he goes into Genesect. So I mean, at the same time, I could have really just attacked too. I just got rid of it, but I had other plans. So I was trying to use X-Plot and Fire Blast to take care of him. So he goes for some more Giga Drains, which really still isn't a problem. Like it's kind of like a known thing that Toxapex checks Genesect now because he doesn't have enough coverage. And this guy, I would definitely recommend running something else other than Giga Drain. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because like, at least against me, I mean, I guess it would work against standard like water types, but like Toxapex, like, you know, it just completely shut down Genesect. And I don't think he had a steel type move either. I don't know what he was running though, to be fair. Like, he could have been having like Bug Buzz or something like that. But anyways, I decided to go into Florges. I still don't really know if he has Flash Cannon or not, but I'm kind of assuming that he doesn't, and even if he does, I don't think he can one-shot me. So I'm going to take this chance now to get a Wish off. This is the perfect opportunity, really. And I really like Florges for that. Like, I've never used it before. This is the first time actually using it, but I mean, it has so much utility behind it, and it's actually not that hard to even get in because it's such a tanky Pokemon. So you could really just, you know, you could easily just, you know, use its ability. So like right here, I was able to get Glalie in and put it back at full HP. And Glalie, honestly, in this battle is really my best Pokemon because it has really good speed, it has really good offensive power, and it can really do huge damage to anything he tries to switch into. And do remember that I do actually have access to Explosion, so I really just need to do an all-out attack. It's almost like a Z move. I can just blast somebody with the Explosion and do huge damage, because you have to remember that Glalie's ability, at least in the Mega form, is Refrigerate, which gives me like a 1.2 times 5 boost to my normal type attacks, and it turns them into Ice type, so they actually get another boost from the stab. And then in addition, you gotta consider that's like a 250 base power attack, so Explosion will either one-shot or bring any Pokemon low that doesn't resist it. So next up, he goes into Tyranitar, and this guy I probably should have been a lot more careful with, because I was expecting it to be just like a regular Tyranitar setup. So I went into Sizers. I was thinking that this would, you know, be an appropriate move. And one mistake I did was actually I just went for the bullet punch, and I was a bit too lenient. I was expecting that I would be able to one-shot him, but Tyranitar is actually, this specific one was quite tanky, and he just lived it. And then he actually had a weakness policy, so I just gave him a huge attack boost. And with the Earthquake he went for, that was complete destruction. Like, I think if I probably would have lived that normally and still have been fine if I didn't go for the bullet punch. But because I got too careless there, I put myself in a terribly dangerous situation, and now I knew I was gonna start getting swept. Now, one problem I made was going into Florges first. I thought he was going to be able to live a hit. That's clearly not going to happen because Florges is a special tank, not a physical tank. And then I was like, alright, well, if Glalie doesn't outspeed and take care of this Tyranitar, it's GG. But, to my luck, I was actually able to outspeed it. And I'll keep that in mind next time because I didn't think that I was going to be able to outspeed him, but I was able to do that. I guess because I have full speed investment. But even then, I thought that, I guess because Tyranitar only has like 60 base speed, and 1.5 times that is like 90, so I mean, I guess that makes sense, but I should have known that because I could have kept Florges in the game. So anyways, he starts trying to set up more screens, and I decided that I'm going to start attacking him. And I was here I was thinking about going to Toxapex, but I was like, actually, I may as well get him a bit lower to where I could just chip him off with Skulls. I know he's going to go for Taunt later on. He goes for a Play Rough, which does huge damage, and this actually could have costed me the game. And here's why. So I wanted to use Glalie to shut down the rest of his Pokemon. He just has Grimmsnarl, Lugia, and Dugtrio remaining. And Lugia can actually do huge damage to me with its Aero Blast. So I had to actually be really careful about that. And Glalie, like, I know 100% that I'm going to be able to one-shot it with Explosion. Body Slam is not a guarantee. And really, none of my other Pokemon, like, you know, I mean, I guess Toxapex can take care of Lugia, but it's not really a comfortable thing. And then you gotta consider that all he needs to do is have Lugia and Dugtrio in the game, and he wins it once I lose my Glalie. Because he can go for Defog, and this is not going to be good, because then he can get his Dugtrio in with Arena Trap. He's going to take care of my Toxapex, and then he's going to take care of my X-Blob, which is already too low. So, if you see what I'm saying, it wasn't a great move. So anyways, I went for Toxic. He switched into Grimmsnarl, which is fine because he's gonna take damage from the spikes. So that's exactly why I like spikes, because when you have them set up, you can't be playing around like that. You got, you know what I'm saying? Because like, even if you're trying to get extra leftovers recovery, it wasn't gonna work for him. Then he went for Taunt. I don't know what he was thinking. He was already paralyzed, so I don't know why I would go for Toxic. I thought that was, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I'm not gonna complain because it did work out in my favor. And now I was thinking, well, he might take this opportunity here to go into Lugia and then get his Defog off. And if he outspeeds me, then it's going to be GG. So I was thinking I should match him by going into Glalie on Lugia. Now, I really couldn't guarantee he was going to do it. And actually, to my surprise, he decided to stay in. And I guess he decided to go for a Light Screen. And that was probably his biggest mistake, because if he just did anything else, it would have been a lot more significant. So Light Screen, the only thing that's going to stop is X-Blood, and X-Blood is going to get outsped and probably knocked out by both Lugia and Dugtrio. So then he goes into Lugia, and now all that matters is that I outspeed him. If I don't outspeed him, then he's going to win. You got to consider that Lugia has a very high base speed. I think base speed wise is actually faster than Mega Glalie. So I thought I was going to lose this battle, but I went for Explosion anyways, and I was actually able to outspeed him and take care of him, and that right there was GG. It was a hella close battle, but because of I really had to say that Glalie did come in clutch quite a lot there. So you're able to take care of a lot of Pokemon, True Spikes, Explosion, and Body Slam. So yes, that was GG. Good game.